Good morning, everybody. This is Bernie from Stampin' Up, and welcome back to another Friday card making session. And I know I say this every Friday, but it honestly feels like it was just yesterday that I was back at my desk making another recording for my Friday card making sessions. I don't know about you, but for me, it just feels like time is just going so quickly. But today, I want to just create a little bit of time out for you, and I thought it would be a really great idea for us to just have a look and go back into the annual catalog and grab a few card ideas. As you know, if you are a Stampin' Up follower, our annual catalog is going to be coming to an end at the end of April, and so I thought it would be a good idea to just highlight some cards that or some stamp sets that you may have overlooked, and before the new one is launched in May. But also it's really good to have some cards on your stash for occasions, for special occasions. And I thought it would be a brilliant idea to actually show you how I created this gorgeous little card featuring the All for Baby stamp set and the baby clothes dies that coordinate with that. And at the end of the video, I'll be showing you some other cards that I've made using the same bundle but with a completely different look, so that most of the items get used. But this one is so cute, so I want to show you how easy this is to use. You're literally just going to need some scraps, and if you don't have the supplies that I am showcasing today, that's okay. You can still take the concept and make your own card. If you are artistic enough, you could even draw a little onesie or baby grow, depending on where in the world you are. But it's a very easy card, and I'm going to use a completely different color combination today. I thought it would be a little bit fun to make this more gender neutral. This is, I don't know whether you could give this card to any gender, but I thought let's do something different. So I'm going to set that card to the side, and we're going to be using, as I mentioned, a different color spectrum. So I've taken Calypso Coral, and my standard card measurements, don't worry about this, it says thick cardstock. That's just because I always use this sticky note, saves me time and rewriting it on paper. But the measurements are the same, so an 8 1/4 inch by 5 1/2 inches, scored at 4 1/8. And remember to burnish that. Now, what have I done with my bone folder? There we go. All right, so we're going to burnish that and set that aside. So that's your card base. And then you're going to need to cut a piece of Calypso Coral, another piece of Calypso Coral, and this time you need to do it, ignore the thick again, thick white, it's standard. You're going to need to cut it at 5 3/8 by 4 inches, and you will need to emboss it. You don't have to emboss it, but it does just add a little bit of texture to the card. And I opted to use the Hello, let me just move that, the Hello little mini embossing folder. Anything that resonates with the theme you can use. At the back of this one, you can't really see it, I can't even tell you which one I used at the back there, but it just gives a little bit of interest. So I like to glue that using Tombow because it's embossed. You will find if you use your Stampin' Up seal, it's not really going to, and just make sure you orientate that correctly. So glue that down, just hold it a little bit, just so that, oops, I've just smeared glue all over that. That's a nice one. That reminds me, I need my baby wipes. There's always something going on my fingers. Okay, let's just hope that gets covered. All right, if it doesn't, I'll just take it off with my cap. Gosh, it has left a bit of a smear, hasn't it? Right, hopefully that gets dry soon enough, and then I can remove it. Then you'll need a piece of basic white cardstock. And if you have the Scalloped Contours dies, the biggest one will cut out this frame. And that is what we're going to be using today to just create a frame around this design. Then you're going to need some scraps of Calypso Coral. You're going to need a scrap of pale papaya. Oh, sorry. No, let me do that again. You're going to need a scrap of pale papaya. You're going to need a scrap of Cajun Craze, and you're going to need a scrap of Designer Series paper. For this one, I use the Hydrangea Hill Designer Series paper, which is retired. But for this card design, I've chosen to use the You're a Peach. And you'll see in another card that I'll show you at the end, I actually used that, featured that quite a bit. I do feel that this design has got a really, it just feels to me like a nursery. It just resonates with me as a nursery. So any design that you look at and you go, oh, that looks like it could really be on a baby onesie. And you're going to need the die from the baby clothes die that looks like this, the little onesie die. So a little bit of scrap paper, and so you're going to need Designer Series paper. You're going to need a scrap of pale papaya and Cajun Craze, and I've taken the liberty of cutting those out, and so this is what you get. So there's the Designer Series paper, that's the pale papaya, and that's the Cajun Craze. I'll just pop that little hole out there. So they are going to go in this sequence. Isn't that looking gorgeous? Look at that. And then you're going to need, if you've got this bundle, you're going to need to cut out 3 coat hangers from white. And there are 2 coat hangers in the set. Look at this. So they are so cute. And when they cut out like that. They look like that. So we are going to piece this together. In fact, I actually just put them on this piece of scrap paper so that I could pick them up off my desk, because my desk is painted white. And I thought, oh my word, that would make a gorgeous onesie. This is from the retired Rainbows and Sunshine paper that is just finished with a celebration. So if you've got some free celebration paper, the Rainbows and Sunshine paper, that would make an awesome design too. Okay, let's get started. So I do encourage you, if you've got one, to use a silicone mat for this, just because it's going to be fiddly. And I'm just going to square this up properly so that I don't put my coat hangers skew. Because if you know me, you know that will do my head in. With this design, you need to start with the one on the bottom first, and then we're going to build it up and build it up. These two are glued, and this little guy has been put on dimensionals. So if you've got a fine tip glue, that would be very helpful to do this fine work. You can always just, actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to dab some on my silicone sheet mat. And just using a sponge, you can see I use this a lot. I'm just going to dab that, and I'm going to just get the glue on there. And then I'm going to use my tweezer. And I'm going to use my, if you look, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and in the middle. So I'm going to glue that down. And then I'm taking my darkest color and I'm gluing that down. Oops, this is a brand new glue, so I've just gone and put a whole blob on it. All right. So now we're going to position this that it goes on to the coat hanger like so. Then back to the next coat hanger. And using my sponge again, I'm just going to sponge the back of that, lift it up with my tweezer, and now I'm, oh, that one hasn't glued down. You can just hold it down for a few seconds, it will adhere. And if it doesn't, then you haven't put enough glue. So this one we're going to aim for about the middle of there. Just hold that down. And now we're going to take pale papaya, making sure that we glue it enough on the shoulders of the little onesie. Okay. Coming in. When you put this down, just make sure you get that coat hanger completely covered. Just hold that down. All right, now the next one, we're not going to glue the coat hanger. We are going to glue this onto the coat hanger. Sorry, my apologies. Just the tip of the shoulders are going to go on. Let me just turn. I'm just going to move that slightly to the side and turn this over. Okay, so that's going to glue on there. I'm just holding that down just to get that adhered. And then I'm going to use my mini dimensionals. And this is why I encourage my customers to use their silicone mats, because it doesn't stick, even though there's glue on there. So I'm going to use my mini dimensionals. You could use, let me just wipe my fingers, they're a bit tacky. You could use the larger ones too. There's no problem if you use the larger ones. Okay. Let's get those on. I'm just doing them evenly, just so that it sits evenly on the card. So you can see I've done 3 rows of 2 on either side. I have left, I've not put any on where the end bit is, and I have deliberately kept away from the shoulders. So I'm just using my tweezer again, and I'm coming in once again, positioning that about in the middle. And because it's on dimensionals, you're going to get a beautiful 3D look for that. So if I take this now and I put it on there, look at that, isn't that gorgeous? So that's starting to come together. We're almost finished. The last step is, I'm looking for my Stamparatus. I want to use the Stamparatus for this step because with this one I wasn't really happy. I made my own label, but to be honest, I wasn't very happy with that, and I just thought, no, I could do much better. So I'm using my Stamparatus. Just put this in the picture for you. Okay, because it is photopolymer stamps, you're going to need to use this rubber, the little mat that comes in this Stamparatus. Now I'm going to position the stamp. I've chosen this one. It says, "Congratulations on your growing family." And I'm going to put it right, this is not in the camera. There we go. I'm going to put it right underneath there, in the middle. Okay, so I'm just going to lift that up. I'm wondering to myself what color I should do the, I wonder what color I should do. I'm inclined to go with cinnamon cider. Let's see how that looks. Let's see. I am winging this now with you on the video. So I'm just going to insert a stamp set underneath that so that it can, let me just move this card out the way. Just going to put a stamp set under there so that it's nice and level. And I'm just going to ink up now the beauty of the Stamparatus. I love this thing. because it means if you don't ink it enough, you can go back and that's on exactly the same place and you will not smudge it. Apologies for that ring light on the picture, I can see that. Right, let's lift this. Yes! Am I wanting to do that a bit more? I might just go in, I think that was the right choice. Cinnamon Cider, by the way, is in color that will be retiring at the end of April. It's a really cool color. I've enjoyed working with it. Let's just go back in. Oh, I like that. I really like that. That is gorgeous. That is just beautiful. Right, Bernie, clean fingers. I'm always get so nervous at the end because my projects look beautiful and then I come with my inky fingers and I land up ruining the hard work that I've done. I either put Memento Black on it or I always do something. So yeah, get a bit nervous. Okay, let's pop that in there. So now I'm coming and placing this and just going carefully around the inked part. And we've covered that smudgy bit that I smudged the glue. There we go. Look at that. I actually far prefer this to that. That's my personal choice. I love that. I just love it. And don't you love how with the designer series paper, look at that little peach that's going to just sit there on the bit that goes in the nappy. It is so gorgeous. Just look at the detail in that die, those little dots. It's just one of the most beautiful, beautiful sets. I think it's a really classical set to have in your stash because, you know, people are always having babies. You're always making cards for people that have babies. And I think it's a really, really good set to keep. So it doesn't date. You can, like I've just shown you, you can use whatever colors appeal to you or whatever colors are the mum's colors. So that's the first one. Well, that's the one I've made with you now. So I'll set that one to the side. Then the next one I use, so this is also using that beautiful peach paper. This one showcases the teddy. So the teddy is a distinctive stamp, and I think I colored him or stamped him with crumb cake. So, and that one's little sentiment says, hello little one. It opens, and again, I've done some embossing. I would probably, if I made this card again, use the hello, but this one's got the letters of the alphabet. And there's a blank section there that you can write your sentiment in. And then the last one that showcases some of the other stamps in the stamp set is this one. So again, it's using the distinct stamps, but look at the pegs. There's little pegs and there's a wash line, and all of that is in the stamp set. So there the pegs, there's the wash line, there the little outfits that I used, and here are the pegs. They're the pegs. And as you can see here, there are bibs, there's teddies, there's stars, there's bows. It's a very, very versatile set. So do give that some consideration. That's a gorgeous bundle to keep in your stash. And like I say, this was my original card. I absolutely adore this one. I think by far my favorite. So I will be popping the items that I used to make this card down below on the description. So just drop on that little drop down arrow, and the link will be there for the bundle and what I used to create this card. But that's me for Friday card making. I hope you've enjoyed it. As I always say, please go and have a look if anything of this has resonated with you, if it's inspired you. Do go and have a look at my other projects. My blog is almost finished. I've just got a few more bits and pieces to do. It does take a little time to do. So I will be announcing that when it's ready. Facebook page, Instagram, and Pinterest. And I also have some very exciting news this week. I have been, was invited to join the Color Inspiration design team, and I accepted that. So do look out from time to time, and I will definitely be posting my cards that I create as part of the design team on my blog. But if you're not already subscribing to my newsletter, I would encourage you to do that. The details are also down below in the drop box, because if you are on my newsletter subscription, you will get exclusive access to those cards that I make. I'm not going to be doing that for everybody. That's only going to be for those that are on my newsletter. So that's very exciting. So yeah, if you haven't yet subscribed to my newsletter, please drop down on the drop down box and click the link. That's me for this Friday. Thank you for joining me. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And remember, until we meet again, stamp, eat, sleep, repeat.